This episode is sponsored by ShoutOUT, a two-way text messaging and campaign management platform that provides analytics and facilitates conversational messaging that delivers, engages, and converts more. Send personalized campaigns from unique phone numbers to the message content itself, letting you brand your campaign to promote yourself and create your messages in a way that users are made to think you sent it personally for them. You can then monitor and improve your campaigns over time with real-time analytics. Start reducing messaging and campaign costs with cost-effective bulk SMS. Scale efficiently without having to worry about high costs. If you'd like to start using mass texting services with simple packages to choose from, visit getshoutout.com today. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akil Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how the future of work is set to impact SMB platforms. Today, we have our guest, Pedram Afshar, joining us. Pedram is the co-founder and CEO of Amaka, a tech startup specialized in accounting integrations and business daily data automation. He started in 2015, and they now have a worldwide customer base and over 30 people on their team. He's an expert in creating innovative technology solutions where, before starting into entrepreneurship, he had a career in commercial banking, credit risk, and portfolio management, where he then used that experience in the SME landscape, which helped him become a startup founder today. So welcome, Pedram. Super excited to have you on the SaaS District show today.
Good day, Akil. Good to be here.
So let's start kind of with the basics. I want to understand how does Amaka work? What do you guys do? What is the impact of using APIs, integration, and as part of building your SaaS?
Yeah, look, so Amaka came about, we were really solving a problem that we were faced with internally. At the time, we had a development company and a US company that was entering the Australian market approached us to develop a connector with a platform called Xero. And they just entered the Australian market that kind of appeared to do some sales and saw that there was a real need for their Xero integration or automation. And the short story is that, we built that first version of the platform, leveraging the APIs for both Xero and that particular company. And we started to see, hey, look, this could potentially become a product, and we could potentially scale it to, thousands of customers. Fast forward 5-6 years, we're actually 45 people around the world globally. We've done a couple of rounds of investment and we've got about 30,000 merchants on the platform. What we do, it's very simple. Our goal is ultimately to save merchants time and money. We leverage APIs from multiple systems to provide financial automations for the customer base.
But so, typically when people approach or, thinking about starting a SaaS, they don't think about, starting with an integration or an API, right? They're thinking, solving a problem that they think will work. But, what happened with you is somebody actually approached you to solve them one problem, right? This wasn't like you went into the market and asked a bunch of people. They came to you and said, hey, I've got this one problem. Can you solve it for me really well? And you're like, all right, we've done a good job here. We've done it once well. Now can we do this at scale? And then you kind of use that to build, which I love, right? That's a good way. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, look, I kind of call myself an accidental entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know exactly what we were going to do. After I left my full-time role, we basically, we wanted to do tech, and that's something that we knew. I wasn't a technical co-founder. I wasn't technical at all. But, we hired developers and we had a development company. And the two companies that we built were basically off opportunities that we saw within the market that were immediate to us. And generally the problem found us. We didn't find the problem.
And where did you, was it you and a co-founder? Were you kind of the sales and marketing person and you had somebody more in technical or did you just kind of lead the whole technical side yourself?
Yeah, look, how we got kind of a really unique story around the founding team. It's basically myself, my older brother and my best mate from school. Generally speaking, it's like a really close-knit group. How we built it out and how we sustained it all was basically I quit my job and I was there full time. The other two maintained their roles, and basically that allowed us to have enough cash flow to build out a lot of the functions without needing venture capital or funding. And we bootstrapped the majority of the journey with one of our businesses, or 100% bootstrapped, and we raised VC for Amaka, which is such a global opportunity, and needed that capital to push for that growth. So look, it's in terms of my role, I've always been really active in the sales or the partnership model. I've worked out, got our first deals, when we were just scrappy and trying to get, people to believe in our story and engage with us, up to today, negotiating deals with the likes of our biggest partners like Block globally, and DocuSign and other partners that we have on the platform.
Nice. And then in terms of, you kind of leading the sales and marketing and kind of the growth of what would you say are some of the marketing experiments or channels that have worked so far? And on the other side, obviously, equally important is what hasn't, and what were the failures that helped you get to where you are today?
Yeah. Look, I'm a firm believer that every single marketing experience works, right? Regardless of whether it yields results, it works because it gives you an indication of what could potentially work, or it gives you a conversation that you can leverage. The short answer is, look, a lot of the marketing that has worked has had a partnership angle for us. Partnerships being a core aspect of our customer acquisition process and the way we exponentially grow our customer base. So I would say that every single time that we've ran an experiment, if it's been direct to end merchants or direct to end professionals, it's generally been far less successful than when we have a partnership with, our amazing partners. And I think that really is something that entrepreneurs can learn from the very beginning, is that, if you're able to leverage a bigger brand, if you're able to add value with a bigger brand, it's a multiplier effect, times 1,000. Where you can, for example, if we do a big campaign with Xero and Block globally, we're going to get thousands of merchants. If we did that same campaign by ourselves, it's very simple. We're not going to get that same impact. Makes
sense. So your entire business model is based on relationships through those integrations and APIs. So you just keep building those relationships, that kind of network effect, and then use them and leverage them to help kind of spread the word, right, through their product and their data, their list.
Yeah, 100%. And look, and it's kind of like, in my previous career, I was a relationship manager at commercial banking at a bank in Australia called Westpac. And I think that kind of basis leads to, pushing with your strengths and relationship, leveraging those partnerships and leveraging those relationships has really pushed us a lot further than what we would have thought from the beginning. So, it's core to our success.
And, if I'm a SaaS founder, I'm thinking to maybe build a SaaS or, use that as a channel for my own SaaS, integrations, APIs. What have you seen as in terms of limitations when kind of going down that path of framework? I can see some, right? You're kind of there's a dependency as well right now.
Yeah, there's a complete. So look, in terms of limitations, and I think a better word for limitations is like threats. It's basically you've got dependencies amongst various channels that you're going to market, and I think you got to be very mindful that, generally speaking, for your product to work, you need 2 or 3 different partners to be aligned. And to want to engage to leverage your platform to bring about success, or that time saving or that automation for that end merchant. So I think having that limitation is obviously something that you have to be aware of. In terms of what we have done to kind of build and shore up that limitation is, generally speaking, to widen the funnel in terms of the partners that we deal with, and really work, in addition to working on accounting integrations, we're doing a lot of business automation, payment automation, reconciliation work, payroll integration, and our partners are very varied and global. So it's kind of an advantage down the line, but initially starting for a SaaS founder, huge concentration risk. But once you build the framework works, once you build the tech that can leverage multiple APIs, it actually becomes an advantage because you don't have that much concentration risk when you're able to scale the product offering that you have.
Makes sense. So it's essentially kind of like customer concentration, kind of the same risk you'd look there, right? It's like if you have one customer, you have one big contract and it's paying most of your bills, like you got to just get more customers. I mean, you can't, and obviously you're going to do a good job with the one, but just have more customers so that you don't, if you do lose it, you're fine, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, look, I think, VCs and early investors really concentrate on concentration risk. I generally don't think it's that big of a deal unless there's no vision to expand it. Those first customers, you just got to treat them like kings, and you're going to make sure that they're your advocates. And we do that with every single customer. We do that with every single partner, and they are the key to your de-risking, right? Because if you provide for them, they'll just refer you to other customers, and they become less of a risk in that sense.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense. So the topic of this, today's episode is, how the future of work is set to impact. So we talk about the future of work. What do you see as kind of the future of work when it comes to SMB platforms and, expected trends or changes you foresee happening in the next year or so?
Yeah, look, it's a great question. Look, in terms of, and this is not like, revolutionary thought, future of work is that automation will take over, and it has already. People are much more productive. And individuals within companies are able to, have their own individual departments and their own individual startups within the business. We're seeing that within our business itself. Some of our, junior staff run big departments, and basically they're leveraging technology to be more productive than ever. And now we want people that can make decisions and make things happen from a strategic perspective, rather than doing manual work or typing in manual stuff. And I think that's a general trend that's going to continue across all parts of the industry, all parts of the economy. In terms of where we sit and where we think the future of work is for SMBs in particular, we see multiple waves. Wave of cloud accounting, cloud e-commerce, multiple systems to run your omni-channel distribution, or your payroll, your tax, all of these functions that live across multiple systems, and we sit in between that. So Amaka sits in between all of those systems and leverages the APIs in micro app format to provide automations for those SMBs. And that's why it's really important to, in such a big concept, and trying to keep ahead of those waves to make sure that we can capitalize on those waves. I think it's really important to stay true to the vision of saving SMEs, or SMBs, as Americans say it, SMBs time and money, right? And if we're really focused on that one truth, it really then drives how we build our micro apps, who we engage with as partners, and what parts of that value chain we tackle for those SMBs.
Yeah, so it sounds like, efficiency, is becoming more and more important, especially, like any small business or SMB, call it. I mean, there's so much limitation there, right? What they can do with such limited resources is not the same as a big corporation. So if you can save them a little bit of time, that you're making their lives, a lot easier, and save them a lot of time so they can, keep, doing what they need to do. Is there any, trends, or, if I was looking to start a SaaS, is there anything that you see as like, all right, this is where I would focus my time, or look at, or how we could save some time or energy that's not being done or could be done better?
Yeah, if you're looking to do a SaaS, and especially a micro SaaS, I would look into the app stores of the various e-commerce platforms, Shopify, and then I would then look further into Square, other accounting packages like Xero, MYOB, QuickBooks. All of these platforms, all of these marketplaces are great channels to customer bases. Entrepreneurs to start that first business, or to do it in a sustainable manner where they don't necessarily need to quit their day job to take on the challenge. I think what's happened in the ecosystem, I've built a previous business, which is practice management software for lawyers, trial attorneys, right? And I sit on the board of. I think those kind of big plays are kind of gone in a way, right? Mm-hmm. The opportunity has passed. You can build an e-commerce platform. Your differentiator has to be something incredibly big for you to compete with the Shopifys of the world. But I think what's happening is, like many other things in the SaaS or many other things within the economy, it's getting broken down into smaller bits. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to build a SaaS company, apps are an amazing way forward. And micro apps or micro automations. And we're at the center of it, and we want to encourage other entrepreneurs to get into it, because there's enough for everyone, and the whole economy really depends on it.
Yeah, and there's another business model for you, right? Helping people set up those stores, and then they plug into you, and then I guess that kind of network.
Yeah, and we have. So we have. So like cool. We've recently acquired a couple of micro apps, and we've been working with other founders to enable them to really get that global scale with the apps that they've partnered with us. So it's quite, look, we're completely encouraging of entrepreneurs approaching us or doing it on their own. It's just it just adds more value to the automation economy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if anybody listening in is looking to build their own micro app or product, obviously check out Amaka and see maybe how you can plug in with them and build something off of that. And before you mentioned, right, before founding Amaka, you started another company. Just love to hear, what do you see as kind of seeing most common mistakes among first time founders, CEOs when first starting their business, or what would you do differently if you were to start that first company again, knowing what you know now?
Oh, look, there's a million things I would do differently. And look, it's kind of like a ongoing thing. You find out something that you would have done differently every day, and I think that just never changes, right? Because you got the power of foresight. I think my first bit of advice to any founder, like starting day one, is don't have some humility in terms of the ideas that you carry. There's a lot of, I think something that I did, which hindered some of the growth that we could have had initially. I had ideas and I would keep them to myself, and I would think, these ideas are valuable. Can I swear on this podcast?
Go for it.
Yeah. Ideas don't mean shit, right? They're just, they're worthless. Unless you're like a quantum scientific researcher that has figured out this huge experiment. If you're doing business ideas for SaaS, like, you're not that smart, and just make sure that like you have some humility around it. It's all about the execution. That's when you actually become smart about it. My advice would be like humility from that very beginning. Obviously have confidence, obviously value what you're doing, but by sharing that information with people that you trust and some people that you don't trust, that journey allows you to grow. And if you keep that really close to your chest and, kind of not be very forthcoming with the information, it just slows you down.
Yeah, love it. That's solid advice. So before we shift gears to kind of the more personal rapid fire, I think this is a good kind of segue. We heard about your famous leading a company tutorial based on a 90s rap classic. Could you share a bit more what that's about and what that resulted in?
Yeah, look, I'm like I love gangster rap from the 90s. Like, just love that, love that genre. When I was a kid, I used to listen to it all the time. Not that I grew up in America or anything. It's just I grew up in Sydney in Australia, but we always look to the US for like, that cultural music scene. Look, I like, the way I like to link starting a startup and the 90s rap classics is because, African-American culture has gone through a lot of, challenges. They've faced a lot of adversity. I'm not trying to liken startups to, the African-American experience, but hey, there's a lot of like short clips where you could get a bit of inspiration during tough times. So if you listen to rap music, you'll obviously appreciate that. A lot of like philosophical takes on struggle, a lot of philosophical takes on resistance. So, you can take those tidbits and get a bit of inspiration. I've written a few articles on LinkedIn about it for fun, because I just, found a lot of those little verses being, little rap lessons for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's all about the grind and the hustle, right? I mean, whether you're doing it on the streets in hard times, you're doing it on your front of your computer, right? You still have to get up every morning and put in the work, right?
100, and no one believes in you, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm sure a lot of rappers, when they were starting out on the streets rapping, no one would have believed in them. Same with startups, right? So if you And I'm not equating the two experiences.
Yeah, sure,
All
sure.
I'm saying is like, you can take a lot of inspiration from it, and hell, you're taking away inspiration from anything at these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. I mean, if that helps you get you, moving forward, it gives you that push to do what you got to do. I mean, yeah, use it to your advantage.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Cool. Pedram, so moving towards the rapid fire questions, let's start with the first one, which is, what's one activity you enjoy outside of work that gets you into flow state?
Yeah. Look, I do a lot of exercise, train, I do a bunch of like CrossFit, do like weights at gym. But one thing I do after exercise, I'm religious with my sauna. So I hit the sauna, no phone, no nothing, no music, no headphones, just go in there. And that gives you like a lot of internal thought. And I just usually try to think about problems that I'm trying to solve, or just think about nothing. And that kind of gets me into the flow state. I get a lot of good ideas in the sauna. That's just me. It's like probably meditation. And after you've done some exercise, you're going there for recovery. You've got a lot of tension out of your body, so you might feel a bit at peace.
I thought you were going to say freestyle rap. I think you just go into that sauna room. You're like, everybody pay attention. Let me show you something.
Dreams. #dreams.
Exactly. I love it. The freestyle stage. Right in the sauna room. Nice. So I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is maybe, I don't know, how old you are, but what's one piece of advice you wish you had known and would tell your 25-year-old self? So it doesn't have to do with business, it could be with anything in life.
Yeah, look, I think like humility we touched on, but that's just when I'm 35 now, but like from a 25-year-old perspective, I think like I would probably just try to like link it to being patient. I think that's a common advice that you would give yourself when you're younger. And the other one is take risks, right? You're 25, who cares? Like if you fail or, I probably at 25, I was obviously working full time, but one of the things that I was like overtly concerned about at that time was what others would think of particular moves that I would make, or, being a bit self-conscious there. And if you're confident, you can take risks, fail, who cares? No one really cares anyway, right? A lot of people think that people are watching them, but no one really cares. Everyone's watching themselves, and I'm worried about their own internal stuff. So care less, do more.
Do more of what you want. Yeah, not what others want. Exactly. Cool. What are some of the biggest challenges you're currently facing in order to continue to grow Amaka? Meaning, what keeps you up at night these days?
Yeah, look, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing at the moment is how to keep up to date and how to engage with business owners to come up with the next generation of micro apps that are going to automate their business. And I think it's not a function of delivery of the technology. It's a function of understanding those businesses and what our customers are saying. And that kind of keeps me up at night, in the sense that we need to continuously be able to extract information from our customers and implement them into products that they can use in their business. How we're addressing it, I think fundamentally, like staying really close to your customers, creating loops within your business that allow communication or information to flow from your customers to your developers or to your business units is really important. And I think ultimately having that culture of sharing information within the business kind of helps me sleep at night, right? Yeah. Because that information is flowing, and I'm hoping that we're solving those customer challenges or those business challenges that people face.
And is this through just kind of passively people coming to you and through customer service calls, or are you guys actively reaching out and doing some kind of research through your customers?
This is so important. Like, it's active. It's not a you cannot do it passively, especially after a certain size. Like up to 5-10 people, yeah, you can do it passively because you're across everything, right? Once you get to like 30, 40, we're now about 45 people. It's impossible, right? So what we do is we create. So for example, we've got a customer success team in the Philippines. They take copious notes on interactions or data that they've seen that could help. We then have cross-department sharing sessions where our customer success team becomes kind of like the voice to tell developers what a customer is saying, like straight from the horse's mouth. No filters. Those notes are then exchanged with our product team. Our partners are also, our partnership teams are also engaging with our developers. So that flow of information has to be active, definitely not passive.
Love it. Yeah, that's critical. I think a lot of people miss that part, and I think that's what makes it's the key. Yeah,
because it hurts, man. Because like some of those feedback are not great, right?
And if you're right to your ego.
it hits your ego, right? So if you can take you've got to take some hits, right? And that's why they avoid it.
The truth, yeah. Hear the truth, yeah. Pedram, what are some of the best 3 resources? It can be, books, mentors, or people you follow in the space who you'd say have been the most instrumental to your success over these last few years?
Yeah, look, in terms of books, I read 2 books that really had an impact on me. 0 to 1, Peter Thiel, classic, and the Lean Startup Model, Eric Ries, that was just a classic for me too. I read those before I left my role, and I really internalized some of those aspects. Although you don't feel like you internalize it, as you go on the journey, you see aspects, but you see things that recall memories of those lessons within those books. And I suggest everyone read as many books as they can about the startup model, and you can easily find them on Google and find out in the top 10 startup books. There's in these days you got a lot of ability to access it. Look, in terms of the third resource, I would say generally speaking, I follow a bunch of entrepreneurs and VCs on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, less active on Twitter, but just getting there. There's so much inspirational stuff. There's so much insights that people are sharing online that you could leverage. And they're incredibly valuable. So go on to Twitter, start following certain people within your industry that have got stories to tell. And you find actually quite valuable stuff. Usually when it comes to social media content, the value proposition is getting lower and lower. In the entrepreneurial side, the value proposition is actually increasing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people sharing cool stuff, inspirational stuff, and also real technical stuff that can help you in your business.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, Twitter has been great. I think just the quality of the stuff that's being put out there, I think it just seems to be getting better for sure.
Yeah, it's getting better. Every other aspect of life, politics, entertainment, all that is getting worse. But in terms of business, it's getting better, especially in the tech scene.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, that's where people are focusing, good, where the energy is going for the good, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Pedram, what does success mean to you today? Whether that's personally, business, financial, life, there's no right answer.
Yeah, look, success for me is, I really like building teams and having people work within a company that they enjoy working in. I think growth of my team is a big success to me, sustainable growth of my team. From a business perspective, and then solving those customer issues. And I think building a global brand, having global customer base, all of those things are what I consider to be success. In terms of personally, I've got 2 kids. I've got, lots of loving family members around me, and being able to spend time with them is probably success to me. And it's been great for me personally to grow the kids and see them grow. So however much time I can get to spend in a quality setting with them is success.
Love it. Cool. Pedram, this has been great. Lots of good insights here. Appreciate you jumping on and sharing this with everybody, our audience. Where can our founders or listeners get in touch with you, learn more about you and Amaka? Yeah,
look, if you're building a micro app, reach out to us on Amaka Partners page. We'd love to hear from you. On the Amaka website, amaka.com, you can find all sorts of information about the business and the products that we have. You can find me on LinkedIn and on Twitter. I'm less prominent on Twitter, just started. But yeah, on the LinkedIn side, I've been pushing out a lot of content and doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. And we do a bunch of webinars and stuff with accountants and professionals within different fields through Amaka. So if you're an accountant or what we call a techie accountant, reach out to us. We'd love to see you on and do some interviews with you on our platform.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Pedram. We'll add all those links in our show notes for people to check out and also reach out to you directly. Awesome. Thank you once again. Appreciate you joining today.
Thank you, Akil. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.